it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
If for whatever reason, the person who likes my music is so hell-bent, or for whatever reason, the person is so hell-bent on knowing what I look like, I don't know why it would be that important to anybody. I really don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really shouldn't matter. Because in all likelihood, the chances of us being able to, like, hang out and, like, vibe when life is going on around us and we all got moves to make is going to be slim.
Mm-hmm.
You get to hang out with me and vibe with me when we're at shows, right?
Yeah.
Like, DM me on Instagram and message me. I always respond, right? And it's like, that's the way that you can feel connected with me. You don't have to know what I look like. The whole point of the reason me hiding my face is so that you don't use what I look like as a judgment for the music itself, right?
Yeah.
And that's guaranteed to happen. It is guaranteed. Because it's just human nature. It's the way that the brain works. The second that you see what I look like, you will associate something different with the music. For whatever reason, it will always change the way that you see it.
Yeah.
So I ask people to maybe just, like, respect the craft and don't try and hunt me down. Or B, if your human curiosity is so far gone that you have to know what I look like, then don't tell anybody once you find me. All right.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's cool though. Like for me, like I think of what was the detective's name when he worked with Batman, the officer. I forgot his name.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon, right? I love the relationship that they had, you know, and Batman always had that mask, so he didn't know he was Bruce Wayne for a while. And for me, like, let's say one day, like, I'm able to interview you face to face and stuff like that, and you got the mask on, I wouldn't be bothered. I'd be like, sure, I have that feeling of I'm actually interviewing a superhero in a way. Cause you know we was all kids at one point. We always wanted to either be a superhero or wanted to be able to feel like a real superhero in our presence. So I feel like that's dope. I feel like you could come out with like a comic one day, you know, and just do that.
Well, I'm glad that you bring things like that up because, you know, not to get too spoilery in the future, but that is something that is currently in the works, you know. And it, like, you know, there's a lot to look forward to because I've only been doing this, like, with the mask for less than a year. Okay. I've been putting myself on Instagram for about 2 years, but I didn't get the mask until February of 2018. And that's really where a lot of people start to see me from. You know, obviously that's part of the reason why I got it, and it is a unique point in terms of, you know, the hell is this dweeb wearing a mask?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once they pull in, it's kind of like that's where the skill I try and flex come to do their work. Because then, regardless of how you feel about the mask, hopefully you got to at least pay respect to what I'm doing.
Right.
Because there's I'd like to think that there is a select amount of people who can do things to the level of which I'm trying to do them.
Mm-hmm. It's not many of y'all though. Honestly, like I said, I only knew probably like maybe a couple or so that actually, you know, even deal with the beat machines and stuff and the way y'all do it. Cause I tried it before. I mean, it's a lot of practice. People think it's easy. It's a lot. Like even with as a DJ, like people think like like I remember. I went to the studio with this DJ. He had actually did the vinyls, and people understand that the vinyls is really hard. Even like the controllers, if you really want to mash it, the controllers, you have to like be on them like almost every day. They think it's just play, pause, and all that stuff. Like, nah, you gotta like. There's still people to this day that still want to hear like the scratches and stuff and the playbacks. Like, it's timely.
This might, with the at the risk of hopefully not sounding too rude to people who think this way, and not you, of course, but this is to others who the statement is technically going to be affecting, because I don't mean to negatively affect anybody ever, but there's a group of people who want to learn how to do something, and if they either oversimplify it and they can't understand the amount of practice that it takes, like just for guitar, for example, guitarists are a dime a dozen, right? Like, everybody can say that they play guitar. But the thing is that they don't play guitar. They can just understand the concept of a few chords. You know what I mean? Like, you know who plays guitar? Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. He plays guitar. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the guitarist from Between the Buried and Me. Like, you can hear the difference. And there's when it comes down to people who are not willing to put in the time or the practice, that's cool. Just then understand that that's what it takes. Don't try and oversimplify the things that we do to make it feel like there's an analogy there. You know what I mean? Like, it's and I always want to pay respect to the people who are always putting in the effort to showcase that there's a musicianship and a true artistry to the way that we can use technology nowadays. Yeah. You know, like 100%. And it's true though that if you can't. There's a select amount of people who will try and, do the basic pad rhythms. Mm-hmm. If they choose not to do it, then that's cool, because it does take it's like a percussive mindset. Some people just can't play drums that way. You know what I mean? Like, I can't play drums the way that Tony Royster Jr. plays drums. I'm not going to fucking pretend to either. Mm-hmm. You know. But that means that if I'm trying to flex something particular on the finger drumming, that there's a reason why I'm trying to flex it. You know what I mean? Yeah, because you that's your style. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. Everyone's got their style, you know, and just but respect the styles. Mm-hmm. don't bite them. You know. So, yeah, it's crazy. So, like, you grew up pretty much. You got into hip hop. This is something I started asking people on my show. What you think? Like, what's your opinion on the state of hip hop? Like, what's your opinion on hip hop today? Oh man, all right. It's a very common topical question. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm not trying to box anybody. Okay. All right, so I'm not trying to box anybody, and I'm not trying to box anybody in. Because I think that this question is a very easy way to make it for anyone to interpret what I'm saying as categorizing me as an old head. Yeah. Okay? Because you know that's how this game goes. The second they're like, yo, bro, I respect that hip-hop culture, they're like, all right, old guy, you fucking get the hell out of here. You don't understand the new wave. You don't understand what we're doing, right? Yeah, it's typical, yeah, it's very, very difficult to try and express a true understanding of the differences that party's trying to represent. And here's what I will say, because of course I'm allowed to have my opinion, and my opinion doesn't have to be considered truth. Mm-hmm. Right? If people want to for whatever reason, take me as my voice as a guiding light in them, then just understand that what I'm about to say hopefully doesn't, make you think less of any particular genre of music. Okay. Now, with that said, the current state of hip hop is that there is it's a modern version of original hip hop. Okay, and here's what I mean by this. I mean by the war that's going on between the people who think that hip hop ain't hip hop anymore, and the people who think that the old heads don't understand. Okay, because back in the day, there would be people representing different style, and don't get me wrong, there would be a core there, right? But that core at the time was the only culture that was available, right? And it wasn't mainstream culture. It wasn't a popularized culture. This is street culture, and it was the only one of its kind at the time. Okay, so for the old people to box it in and say that this is what it only can be, I'm not saying that, okay? But back then, your vocal style, the kind of samples you chose, the rhythms that you played, it was indicative of who you were, what you were representing, right?
Right.
And you would go to battle. If you wanted, like, that would be something that people would just straight up, like, compete against in the same way that, like, artists compete today. And the only thing that's changed is that hip-hop culture, which is by far the best culture on this planet.
Yes, it is.
That is my humble opinion. But it is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, with hip-hop culture being popularized, being put into mainstream, with both, thanks to the success of some of our forefathers of hip-hop, okay? It's in partial play to do with the actual talent and beautiful things that were done by our forefathers, right? And also in conjunction with the evil that is the corporate business.
Exactly.
Okay? It's a combination, because it takes the hungry to do what is done. You know? When you're hungry, you're going to kill something to eat. It's just the name of survival, right?
Yeah.
So if you are someone coming from an immature perspective of anything, then they are going to take advantage of you. And some people care more about an ends to the means, right, than they do about a core form of integrity. And that's not and I'm not just talking about selling out, you know, the concept of selling out. I'm just talking about in general the concepts of being able to say, you know, if I do this record a certain way because I understand my fan base likes that, then that means I will make more money. It's like everyone technically does it, you know. It's branding. But with that said, the current state of hip hop is this: it is now so popular that enough subgenres have been able to spawn off of it, and that's where, in my humble opinion, this becomes the war. So, to call something hip hop is, to me, dives deeper than just the music itself. Okay, so can I call a lot of the popular stuff today hip hop? No, I cannot. But that's because of that division in the statement. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, by default, since it doesn't represent certain things in the culture, it's not considered hip hop. Now, does that mean that there aren't trap beats with MCs that have been hip-hop, right? Or have repped hip-hop? That's something that has absolutely happened, okay? And there's a reason why it's talking about pushing the next level, like what's new, what's different, blah, blah, blah. And people will say, you can't keep living in the past, you can't keep doing this, and that's why, you know, people, that's also the minor war between sample culture versus original production, right? That was never a statement until everyone had the ability to buy like, you know, a makeshift home studio, right? If we were all living in the same you know, level that we were then, it would still be a sample culture today, right? Yeah. But the fact is that it no longer takes $100,000 studio to record your full production, okay? And because of that fact, it means that there's a lot of people who now can say, well, I can now make my own music. See, I got all this, and I can make my own samples. It's like, yeah, technically anybody can if they have the brain to, because you don't have to learn how to play music in the way that you have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like, if you can buy a MIDI controller, and you can learn how to play a bass line, does that make you a piano player?
No, because you're not. It's, in my opinion, it's like for this.
But
like,
you're playing chords, right?
Yeah,
if you're playing bass lines, you know, are you gonna play, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. It's like then it comes down to, you know, yeah, because of the fact that you can't still call yourself like a piano player on that level, you can't say that you would be able to do all full original production. You can't go into a studio, pick up the guitar to play the guitar parts, what you're used to doing is putting a guitar tone VST on your MIDI controller